navigator, we also use proximity sensors. What is this? This is the infrared sensors, which we use to give us distance from the obstacles or the walls. Also mounted on our quadcopter, we have an IP camera, which gives us a constant video stream, which we pull to find our image of the target. So let me explain a little bit more about how the signal mux works, because it's important for safety concerns. How it works is there is a signal that's attached to the radio controller, and we have a switch on our radio controller that we can toggle back and forth between manual flight and autonomous flight. So if something is going wrong, we can easily flick the switch and regain manual control. It's a little bit more elegant solution than just hitting the kill switch, which is another safety measure we implemented. The kill switch is also activated by the radio controller. However, instead of gaining back manual flight, you cut the signals from the APM, which in turn shut off the speed controllers, which will kill the motors as a result. So now I'll hand it off to Miguel, and he will tell us a little bit how we navigate to the obstacle course.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Miguel. So I just want to talk to you about the navigation. All right. So this is a picture of our field, and the navigation is divided in two main parts. Before we reach the end zone, which is the red part, and when we reach the end zone. So pretty much we have a state machine that behaves in one way when we are in this first part, and behaves another way when we are in the second part. So here we have a simulation of our code, of our algorithm. So each of these little arrows, they work as one state of our state machine. So our approach uses a state machine to differentiate between states. And how do we do this? We are using 4 infrared sensors to detect proximity and maintain secure, so a safe distance between the wall, and try to maintain this. So for example, let me start right here on the middle of the blue box. So we have this first stage in this arrow, which is seek the red wall. So when we are close to the red wall and we are in this first stage, we go to seek the front wall. So here we have 2 options that we could have nothing right here and just go through to the final wall, or if we had some, if this object was here, we would find that wall. Our optical flow sensor would tell me, hey, I am not in the end zone yet. So what I would do, just seek for an entrance, go left, go forward, and go to the right wall again. So this will make sure that independent of where this thing is, we could just like turn over and go forward and find the end zone. So when we reach this end zone, the optical flow will tell us, hey, you have an X value of your position, since that here, X and Y, greater than 40 feet. So based on this command, and now your state of the state machine will behave a little bit different. When you have like the go forward just a little bit. So right now we implement what we are calling for scanning this area, the crab scanning. So go forward, seek the right wall. When the sensor detects the right wall, so maintain the safe distance. Go forward again. Be careful with behind the right wall, left, and keeps the same. So the next slide. So this is our state machine. We use an approach similar to the one used in digital systems, similar to those million more machines. We have a total of 7 states. So the first state is the hover. We're just going to take hover, wait a little bit and everything, it's okay, and then start to go right. We're going to seek the right wall, and these are going to receive the inputs from the sensors and outputs the 2 things, the pitch and the roll. So for a negative pitch, the quadcopter is going forward, and for a positive pitch, the quadcopter is going backwards. For a positive roll, goes right, and a negative goes left. So for each one of these states, we're going to turn the quadcopter as this, maintaining a safe distance between the walls to make sure that we don't crash, and we keep the path that we want the quadcopter to follow. Also, cover, seek the right wall and seek the north wall, and go, as we saw in the previous one, seek the entrance, go back to the right wall, and then when we find the last, the end zone, we are going to the crab walk, which are those blue arrows, and when we reach the final wall, our optical follow say, okay, you reach the front wall, and you are in the final, you're in the end zone, so stop. Outputs, row, and pitch equal to 0, and land safety. When we are in this part, in the end zone, we are going to be also looking for the target. We are going to use the vision, which Nicholas is going to explain right now.
Hello, I'm Nick, and I will take over about the target detection approach. But first we need to understand how the color space can be represented. We use the HSUV coordinate, which you can define any color through varying the hue, saturation, and value parameters. That figure shows how the color space can be represented in the HSV representation. Your target detection algorithm is divided in 3 parts, and the first one, it is the capture image, which we are using a Wi-Fi camera, and the second step, it is the ASUV space conversion, and the last one, it is the ASUV filtering. But since the target has a distinctive color, can be easily trusted. And these are the results that we got it. And as you can see, the first window is showing the main frame that we got from the Wi-Fi camera. The second window is showing the ASUV image in the ASUV representation. And the third one is the threshold image, which the target it is represented by the white pixels, and the black pixels show the background. The fourth window show the configuration of the parameters that we need to configure for detecting the new green ball. The next slide shows how your target detection algorithm works, and we developed 2 conditions to get the final picture. We need to have a large number of white pixels inside the threshold image, and as we get the border clear, the final picture will pop up.
What's your expression? So it's half video there. So what you would see is another third window popping up as done.
So support testing results of our navigator and our using the APM for navigation. What we do here in this video. So this is a test of the built-in altitude hold mode that the APM offers us, or the autopilot. And how it works is initially our strategy is to, when we're in the starting zone, we will manually take off and get to hover a distance from the ground that we want. And then we'll start the autonomous mode and allow it to fly forward and start navigation. What's happening here is we're doing just this. We're taking it off a certain height, and then we're letting go of the controller and allowing the APM just to drive the altitude hold mode.
And you can see the professor just like move their hands.
Yep. And so in this slide, now we're heading on to the navigator control. So now the navigator is not only letting the APM hold the altitude from the floor, but now we're also trying to direct it so it can start moving around obstacles and stuff like this. And so in this brief demonstration, we wrote a short script that just briefly bobs in each direction. You see here. So the reason we're losing a lot of thrust here is the altitude hold mode, which is controlled by the autopilot, not by us. It has a latency driving it, we need to be careful to not go too fast, otherwise we won't be able to main thrust in order to hold its altitude to the distance we want. So we'll be going slow. So these are the problems that we've tackled for this challenge. We've met the safety requirements, so hopefully we'll be able to not be disqualified and able to run tomorrow. And also, we've come up with a navigation algorithm that allows us to navigate past obstacles and start finding the target. And finally, we have a method for imaging the target and reporting it back to the ground station. And all this together is how we're going to hopefully scale for next year and perhaps take on a little bit more advanced techniques using different sensors. So thank you. Are there any questions?
How do you recognize that you are in target?
Sorry?
How do you recognize that you are in target? Like once you pass the first obstacle and you want to go left and then you go right, how do you know here is the target or not?
So the state machine handles this.
How do you measure the distance?
Okay.
Which is the
So we're using an optical probe to measure this distance.
are you using optical probe?
Optical sensor. And it's giving us the X and Y distance. And since we know that we have the Y axis, we were trying with 40 feet in meters. So after 40 feet, we have a condition like if in all the states. So if 40, the optical flow is greater like, for example, 40 feet, do not go what you were doing before. Do the opposite. Go to the other state. So this if is going to be met, and we're going to use the same states but in a different order.
What if the optical flow has some error?
Sorry?
Which has?
Sorry?
If the optical flow has some error to give you the exact X and Y, how do you go over that?
Oh, so we don't have any additional method of keeping track of where we are, so we're hoping that the lighting is good enough and optical flow does not produce huge errors, otherwise we'll be off in our location.
But usually optical flow doesn't work very well in this kind of problem. It gives you lots of error if it's not like white or solid.
We were just worried about this with the lighting, and we were discussing how to increase the squall of the optical flow sensor. And one of the ideas, because we were testing this, and when they put like a flashlight, for example, our phone, the squall increased a little bit, at least work increased in our laboratory, but this is something we need to test right here. Some kind of a different approach that could be right, could be wrong. We have to test it with this lighting.
But as you shown in the video, your laboratory is big enough and was white in the floor, kind of. It's different from here, right?
Yeah, that's why we need to test it.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions?
What challenges have you guys faced when you testing using optical flow sensors? Like we have some challenges estimating local X and Y, tracking local X and Y position.
Our biggest challenge was the quality of the picture. So since we got an optical flow and all the codes we ran, we faced a squall and the quality. And sometimes we were like, for example, on a table, and the table had like a squall of 0. So the quality of the picture was pretty bad. Sometimes we were outside and the quality was perfect. And then we moved to like, for example, concrete, it was terrible. So, and then we started to do some different things. In the laboratory, I started, maybe if I do it, it's not the best, but if I go with a flashlight, increase. And we could measure with some error, but we could have a good idea that where we were. Using also the height, we could have not like perfectly precise, but good enough to, if it works as we are expecting, have at least to say, hey, you are in the end zone.
programming to figure out, oh, what they place it here. Since the areas and where the images are, it was too uncertain for us to, since we were also very constrained in time in our development, the uncertainty was too much for us to tackle.
So for next year, right, and going forward, if we were to still use all of our markers, what would you want to know ahead of time? Would you feel like you need to know their exact location? Or
One thing we weren't sure if the camera would be on the wall or on the floor.
oh, okay.
So we put the camera forward or we put it down.
I see.
Our camera's pointing down.
Yeah.
So a problem in the rules is it's very brief. The description of the
Yeah.
markers was very brief. Maybe like you could give an area like, oh, on this wall it'll be within this square area somewhere. That makes it a whole lot easier to develop.
That's good feedback. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, and you know what? Actually, I didn't consider putting them on the floor.
Really?
Right.
It makes it more difficult because,
Yeah.
so the reason it makes it more difficult is if the markers are also like on the floor and the walls and the ceiling, now you have to point your camera in these directions.
Right.
So it makes it more difficult to find this way.
One more question. How do you plan on calculating the position of the uncertainty?
Okay, so again, due to time concerns and the complexity of this problem, right now we have no solution for calculating the target's coordinates.
I can calculate it. It's really, it's, for example, we were trying to measure, like, for example, this, go forward with our copter. We know, like, how, like, far it goes. So we were trying to estimate this thing, like, based on how the quadcopter is, like, moving, but not, like, in size.
Right. Because optical flow is not 100% accurate, it's going to produce too much uncertainty for us to try to guess that at this point. So if we were to use the markers, that would help a lot, but we're not using it. Any other questions?
I don't know, I guess just, I don't know, how much time have you spent in developing this?
So, it's an interesting story which I won't go into too much detail, but basically, I was told about this competition a month ago, and by this time it had already been going on for only a couple weeks. The reason for this is, we're part of the Intelligence System Club, right? This was originally assigned to a different set of students entirely, and these sets of students did not decide to do this competition. So now we needed more students, and so this is how we were assigned. And as a result, with finals, we already had our finals. There was not huge amounts of time to perfect and develop a perfect
So
system.
the last final they had was on Friday. And so I'm incredibly proud of these guys.
We had 3 full days then, right?
So if you guys could pick any day of the year to have the competition, when would it be?
I actually preferred August where it gives us something.